Hello, hello, hello out there. It is day 5, day 6. Let's see. Yesterday was day 5. There's the thumbnail from yesterday. Just to give you an insider scoop, every time I do a video, after the video, I have to come on and make all these little thumbnails in Canva. Um, uh, I can't tell you how much I love Canva. Um, Today we are doing paper quilling. Look at all this paper. And this is just part of the paper that I have. I have tons of paper. I do have supplies on my desk too. I'm going to show you guys all of that. But first, I'm going to show you this is a really simple piece that I made a while back. It is framed in a shadow box. And this is done with basically scrap paper. And this is what quilling is. If you've never seen quilling or you didn't know what quilling was, it's not necessarily the part of a feather to write with. You use a quill to write letters back in the day. Some people still do, which is actually really cool. Great. Awesome. It's an art form in itself that, you know. Anyway, I don't do that. I do pen and ink, but haven't done it in a while. But anyway, back to quilling. Quilling is basically paper art where you swirl paper in all different shapes. As you can see here, there are little teardrops. There's what I call an eyeball. I have a heart in here and just circles and tight little circles. So you can do so many different shapes with quilling. This piece right here is actually a teardrop with the end of it swirled to give you a separate piece, that this pink one here. Um, so this is one that I usually have on my wall. I brought it down here for today. Now I do paper art in different ways also. Um, I do paper art with my Cricut machine. You can cut your quilling pieces on a Cricut machine, and yes, I have done that. Especially when I wanted to use like decorative paper with some kind of print already on it. But regular quilling paper you can order online if you don't want to sit and cut paper. If you do have um, like the guillotine paper cutter style paper cutter, you can make your own strips if you have random paper laying around. Um, there's nothing really special to the paper. It is thin, and it usually comes in lengths of, let's see, they're they're like 12 inches long. I'm trying to get my tape measure here. I do have a tape measure right here that's attached to my desk. Um, these that we're going to work with today, and so just to give you an idea, and I believe they're around 12 inches long. I'm going to put this on here, stretch it out. No, they're not. They're 15. Wow. I thought they were 12. Yeah, they're approximately 15 and a quarter inch long strips. But you can use whatever you have. Literally, the piece I just showed you that I made is just from random scrap paper that I had, and I just cut them myself. These are pre-cut, but this is like, this is what happens after I have a quilling class. People, people have these, and then they pull them apart, and it's a hot mess, and it's really actually quite difficult to clean them all back up. But it is what it is. So we have quilling paper here. I'm going to push that to the side and show you some other supplies that you're going to need. I'm going to try to zoom into the supply list. This is listed on our website. and on social media. So the quilling supplies, see if I can zoom in. They're they're all right here. Ah, sorry. Live TV, folks. This list right here. So you'll need quilling tools. Now, quilling tools can be as easy as a little skewer. I have multiple pieces in here, different sizes and different styles. Um, Depending on the thickness of paper, let's just pour them out if I can't get to them. And yes, I do quilling as a class, workshops and such. So I have a lot of the same supplies. So this one here is quite large. Let's see if I can get it to focus. So you can use it with cardstock. So this one's quite a big gap. This is what actually helps you spin the paper. So you put the paper in there. These are poking tools, needle tools, basically, if you're in the clay world. And some of these are really, really thin for really thin paper. So these are the spinners. You can buy kits like this, and I have a lot of these kits. I'm going to grab the tweezers out of this one. Um, and I'll show you the things that are in here. This is a tool here to help you shape circles. And then these are the other tools. And then this is a pegboard. And I've got one of these open over here. I'm going to put this to the side. You're probably like, wow, that's a lot of stuff. It is. And it's because I have classes with multiple people. So I have to have supplies for multiple people. So we do have a lot of these little spinners, and these all came from kits. So they're not all, you don't necessarily buy these in bulk like this. So, and I keep them in just a plastic container. Sometimes I can get them all in there easily, and sometimes I can't. So for the sake of TV today, and we're live, I'm just going to put them all to the side. Okay, they're all falling, so that's good. So I have some here that we're going to use. So you'll need quilling tools. These are the pegboards that you can make shapes with. It's basically a little pegboard with little pegs, and you wrap the paper around it to get all kinds of cool shapes. So we might use one of these today. Um, I just grabbed a stack of stuff. Now, you can also get these shape makers. You know what? Let's take it to the magic fingers and jump to the other scene. Ready? 3, 2, 1. All right, that's a little bit bigger and better, right? So this here is basically a shape maker as well. And this shape maker is designed to get ovals in consistent sizes or triangles. So when you are working with your pieces and you want them to be in a consecutive size order, you can do that. This right here is the same thing as the pegboard. So this part right here, you actually use needles or push pins or straight pins inside of this to do the same thing that this does. But you can make all these different shapes um, with the system. Now, I also, like for my classes, I only had a couple of these. So what did I do? I went to the library, and amazingly, our library has a 3D printer, and I actually 3D printed all of these. And I just 3D printed the plastic parts. The backs are covered in foam, sheets of foam. So these are actually 3D printed, basically the same as this. So I would have enough because I didn't want to buy a bunch of these when I can just make these at the library. So it's really helpful for our business that we use the library a lot. They have a really amazing maker space. And yeah, I can't say enough about our library here. This is a kit of paper. I'm going to grab these scissors out. Sometimes the kits will come with papers. Sometimes it's just a toolkit. You can get these kits online. So that's one kit. Put this down here. We're not going to use this. This is my main kit. This is my personal kit. And I'm going to open it up. And it came with, not this, because that's a different thing, but it came with paper and tools. And you'll see I have all kinds of little tools that I use. Sometimes I'm using toothpicks to help guide me with stuff. It's got paper in here. This is all my personal stash. I already have some pieces here that are pre-made that I use to show. This is done with the pegboard. And so these are different shapes that you can design and make. Let me put that under the camera that actually you can see it. And even little small pieces like this. So, and these are my straight pins that I use when I'm tacking things down. I also have one of these in here for my own self. And there's more scissors in here. These are like little kid scissors, really funny. Um, but they work. So, um, and then here's one of the little quilling people. And this is just to help you get size of circles. So curling your ribbon of paper. Okay, so that is some of the supplies you're going to need. You're also going to need glue, scissors, tweezers, paper plate. Hopefully, I still have a paper plate laying around here. I do. It has paint on it, but I'll use the backside. Um, Paper towels, just to wipe off your fingers. It's not for really. You're not going to get too messy with this, unless you go crazy with the glue, and not crazy glue. We use tacky glue when we do this because it's tacky. It's really sticky and it goes on really well. So today I'm gonna show you guys. Oh, let me adjust my chair and scoot in the right spot here. So that's what you're going to need. You're going to also need something to do a project on, whether it's cardstock, maybe a small canvas, just a regular sheet of paper. You can do that too. I'm going to show you some samples of quilling that I have found on the internet. These are all designs, quilling designs that I found on the internet, and they're really pretty. And especially this one. I would love to do this. This is all quilled. Now there's a lot of these little tight circles and they're in multiple colors, and that's where you glue two strips of two different colors together. So you can do really fancy designs. Um, and today, these are all my samples for so that people get to look at. Today, we're going to do a little bit different. Now, I do a project with the kids I call 2D to 3D, where they take these alphabet letters and they do a half and half. So they get two of these, and then we do a paper art project with that. But today, I'm going to use this as my quilling template. And we're not gonna finish this one today, but we'll see how far we get. Now, when I start a project, there's also different thicknesses of papers. So you can get these a quarter inch, even up to like almost 1 inch. This one's about quarter inch, and this one's just a little bit smaller. Maybe it's the same size. I don't know. Anyway, you can get small paper, you can get larger paper, and it just depends on the project. Here's some that's really super tiny. This one here. Um, I don't know what size this one is because they don't put it on the package. So this one is really super tiny. Um, so we're not going to use that. But when I start a project, I always do a border. And to take this paper off, it's glued on each end. So you can just pull it off easily. And they always have this little bend in them. They're never really straight. But just like curling ribbons, if you're doing gift packages, if you just run your nail on the paper, it will straighten it out. So hopefully you can see the white paper. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually put a border around the outside edge of the letter N. And it can be a bit tedious. And you might want to use those little bends to your advantage. Um, so we're basically going to line the letter N with the edge of the paper standing straight up. So that's a big key. Now I also I take the glue and just put it on my plate just a little bit at a time. You might want a little stick like a toothpick or something like that. Let's see, where's my gluing toothpick? I have it in my kit. So here's my toothpick that I use. And when I do this, I tend to put the glue on the line, but you only need a little bit of glue. Now, tacky glue is very tacky. It will be stringy like that, but you can use that to your advantage. So when you are doing a piece like this, if you just touch it and you can pull a line of glue across your letter, it's almost like you're writing the edge with the glue. So you can do that, or you can just tap it on here. And I'm doing this first before I start quilling all the tiny pieces that are going to go inside of this, just to show you guys. And I was in debate because we do have um, a thing later to do, so I'm not going to be on here too long today. So I'm trying to show you guys the basics of how to get started. And maybe maybe I'll actually film the entire tutorial for you guys. Um, Quilling is a lengthy process. So as far as getting this done in an hour, it's probably going to be a little bit more than an hour. So, and I'm going to be only on here for a little bit. So I have the glue in this little section, I'm going to put some more down here. If you are just tuning in or you just happen to find our channel, my name is Nikki and I do artsy, fun, cool stuff on here on YouTube every day. Every day. And basically, this week has been my take on art tutorial week. So I am showing different mediums of art every single day. So when I do this, I'm going to take the end and I'm going to place it where it needs to be here and just try to form it around into this glue. Can take a little bit of time. This is the fun part, is sitting and waiting for glue to dry. But the tacky glue will adhere pretty quick, so you only have to hold it there for just 10 to 12 seconds or so. If you're timing this, then you'll have to let me know how long it really took me. And with this process, let me see if I can adjust this camera up a little and then down over the top. Let's see, is that better? Is it better or worse? On the boom system here, it's sometimes tricky. See, it's already stuck there. And I put the border in because I'm going to fill the inside of the shape of the letter. I'm going to give it a little pinch so it makes that curve. And then once I get to the end, I'll take my scissors. And in this case, I'm going to cut the paper right where it ends. Just stand the scissors up and snip it. And hold these in place for a little bit longer. Maybe it's more or less. So now, and if you do need more glue, you can always go grab your toothpick with the glue and just stick it in there just to hold it down. You want roughly the shape of whatever design you're doing. So the outline of whatever you want to make is this process. You're making a little cubby hole, or I don't know, a little border. It's like a border. Yeah. I'm just gonna let that sit there for a minute, or it's more than 10 seconds. I mean, sometimes it can take a little longer, but that's okay. So basically we've got our shape here and it should hold in place now. And if you want to see how that looks on there. So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to go ahead and show you guys some process of filling this in. Now these shapes, if I want to make these shapes exactly, I can take my little pegboard and I can take this idea and figure out where do these little pegs go to make this shape. So I would start the leaf on the outside, the farthest point, and then go in, just like the shape of this leaf is. And you use these little tiny metal pegs to do the shape. So it can be here, 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 and then I'm gonna go and bring it You can use your finger. You could use a ruler. So it's here. It's about to here. So we're going to say it goes this way. And then it's going to go around this way. So you're basically making that outside edge of this leaf. And you're going to try to make it as well as you can. And we're going to say it's going to come down to this one. And I'm only doing from here to here. So this is one loop, two loops, and then it's going to come down to about here. And then we're going to make one more loop here. And bring it here to here. Now, you're probably like, how is that going to work? Well, I'm going to show you. So I'm going to grab some random green paper that's sitting up here on my desk. And I'm going to, this is only going to be from this point around to this edge. Okay. Now these little extra pegs, you could do the other side too, but I'm only going to do one side at a time. The little extra pegs to the side. This is where running your nail or your scissors across the paper, just straighten it out a little bit. And to make this work, I'm going to make a little bend in my paper and I'm going to wrap it around the pegs. It's almost like you're weaving it. Just want to pinch this so it'll stay. And you're just taking it down and around these pegs to get this shape. From here, I'm going to bring it all the way down to the bottom and bring it back up around that peg. And you just basically want to make this shape. And you can do little pinches at the points, and that should hold there. And then around this one, and we're going to bring it all the way around back to this point. Now, when you get to that point, you're going to snip the paper a little bit. Boop. And there's where you get your toothpick out again. So where I pinched the paper here, we're going to attach this end to here. And by wrapping it around all the way to here, we know roughly where it's going to go. And this little edge, and take a touch of glue and just tap the paper here just a little. It does not take a lot of glue. Wrap it around. And then touch it to the end. I will have a little tail left here, and that's fine. So this is the outside shape of kind of this leaf. We're gonna say it's that leaf. So you can see here. Now you have all these little spaces in here. You could zigzag and make this crazy and make it all work. But the way I'm going to do it is I'm just going to pinch these edges where they touch the little pegs. You can also do this with your tweezers. This is where your tweezers can come in handy. And just pinch it where these spots are. Okay. Now, when we take this out of here, it might go all crazy. So we don't want it to go all crazy. So we're going to see if it's going to go all crazy, but hopefully it won't. Now I'm going to take my glue and I'm going to tap my paper and pull the glue roughly around the top. This is supposed to be the way it should be when I pull this off. It's always kind of scary when you pull them off the pegs. You could just pull the pegs if you want. And put them in and since we pinch the paper around where the pegs are, it should keep its shape. Or it might spring like that on you. Or slip it off like that. So here's a shape. Okay, yes, I know that tag and little tails there. We're just going to place this in here somehow to form this shape. Tweezers, always try to use your tweezers. Now you can just free form this if you want. If you don't want to use the little pegs, you can do that. It is tricky. You'll kind of get the idea, right? You can also take your paper and dip it in glue on the edges. Sometimes I do that. Anyway, you kind of get the idea, right? I know it's hard to see. So you're going to make the shape here. Now, you could just do the whole process that we just did a minute ago with the edge of the end and do it that way as well. Or you could just continue adding the glue and fixing it on the paper. I know I'm not talking. It's very strenuous work here going on. Trying to get these papers to go in. This is the challenge, everybody. I'm going to actually just free form it a little here. Show you guys, you can just actually just free form. I should have the side view camera going on today, but I did not set all that up. It's quite a process to set up. No. I'm just gonna touch the edge of the paper below here and place it on. When you have your toothpick, you can pull the paint, or not paint, the glue off and do it that way. So it's pretty tacked down. And as I said, I ended up going a little freestyle there. So this is the shape of the leaf, that little tail. I am going to just snip it off. Take my tweezers to pull it out of there. Okay. So you kind of get the idea of doing these outside borders and shapes, right? Sorry, I have not been looking at the chat. So if you are chatting with me, I'm not ignoring you. I just haven't looked at the chat. Sorry. Let me go on here real quick and look at the chat and see if any of you guys are chatting while I'm doing this. Sorry, sorry, sorry. Okay. All right. Perfect. If you are tuning in live, don't forget to add in the chat. Um, I will see it eventually. This isn't as dangerous as the quilling. I mean the needle felting yesterday. So anyway, so I'm gonna do a couple different shapes with you guys, and I already have some pre-made here. And these shapes are perfect to go in these little corners like this. And what that looks like is this. So the border is there to help you fill in the space. To make these shapes, we will take my shape maker, one I 3D printed, and I'm going to take, and I'm going to use, I'll use a strip of hot pink. Hot pink's been my color lately. I've just been really into hot pink lately. I think it's the whole spring time. So what you can do now, whether you have a shape maker or if you're just making this by hand, you can do it either way. So in this case, I'm going to use make a little teardrop, and these have different sizes. Now the one that I 3D printed has the only one size of a teardrop there. Um, so I am going to use the one that I 3D printed. And this is where the quilling tool comes into play. Now, you may not be able to see right there in the middle is a little slit where you slide the paper in, just like this. You want to try to take the paper, put it to the edge. Ooh, let me switch hands because I am right-handed. Switch it in here, and on the very edge, I put my thumb on here. Let me get a little closer. And then you start spinning the paper. And I put the paper between my fingers just to help guide it. And this is where the quilling is. You are making a little spin of paper. Ugh. And we're just gonna spin it. And as I spin it, the tail There, the end of your paper is called the tail. It's just going to start coming to an end, trying to keep that aligned. So, can you use little tiny pieces like this just tightly quilled? Yes. You can take it straight off of here. You want to glue the tail down and you can use this little tiny circle. Now, in this case, we are going to make the teardrop. So I take and pull this, slide it off the tool with my thumbnail underneath. Okay, you can put your tool down because that's done. And we're going to place this inside of our template. And I'm going to put it here towards the circle part. And then we're going to let it go slowly. It will open up. And I quilled that pretty tight so I can work with it a little bit. And so now, can you use a piece that's like this? Yeah. I love the way the light plays on the shadows and side quilling pieces. I think it looks so cool. You can make it look like it's spinning around. Um, so now you can either use a straight pen or a needle tool. In this case, you can take the straight pen and the needle tool and work it together. And I take the middle of the actual circle. Let me see. Can I get y'all in? Let me get y'all in closer. Hold on. Because this is the tricky part. Let's go closer to the table. All right. See if I can get this to make sense for you guys. So what I'm going to do now, if you want to freestyle this, you can put it in your fingers and pull this center to one side and then pinch the end to do it. Or if you want to try to make them consistent size, you can go to your template. If you need to loosen it up, go the opposite direction with the paper. And let's say we want it about there. And I haven't glued the tail down. I'm going to do that last. Okay, so if you have it there, hold it with your finger, take the straight pen and put it in place. So this has a foam bottom, the ones that I made, and it will hold it in the right spot. Now if you take another straight pen and you pull down, let's say you have this one here, and you want to pull down these pieces, loosen it up if you want. And as you pull the individual little layers apart, you can make that piece bigger. Okay. You can shape it in all different shapes. But in this case, we want it to be, it's not going to actually make it all the way down there. I did it so tight. Let me undo it some more. Undo that a little bit more. Open up the shape. All right, that's a little bit better. And this is why I am not going to be on here too long because it takes a while. Let's take the eye of this one We're going to bring it to the bottom, to the actual corner. Do it this way. So you can make, when I say the eye of it, the point, you can actually put it either at the top or the bottom. For this one, we're going to go to the bottom because it's just going to work out better. Okay. Once it's in there, I'm going to pinch it. I actually stuck the pen all the way through. Ah, I'm going to hold my thumb there and pull the pen out. Cool. Ah! Well, that was fun. Okay, we'll freestyle it. So at this point, I'm going to take and glue the tail down. Just a little bit of glue on here. And then to get that to come down, I'm going to take my toothpick of glue and I'm going to put it in some of the layers here. Hopefully you guys, I'm trying to get it to focus. Just place it in some of these layers. And pull the eye down, give it a pinch. Might have to hold it for a little bit. Yes, it's under my finger. So in some cases, you might want to also, while you're watching TV and you want to just make a whole bunch of shapes, you can just sit and make a bunch of these up so they're already pre-made. And that's also a way to just have it ready to go ahead of time. I did not do that because I've been too busy. It's been a very busy week. I'm going to move this template out of the way. So we have a little teardrop. Yay, after all that time. And we're going to take this teardrop and decide which side looks the best. I'm going to say this side looks the best. We're going to glue this side down. And you're just going to take your glue, tap it on your shape. This is going to be glued down into the framework. And it doesn't take a lot. It might look like there's a lot of glue on there. There's not. It's just tapping it. Just a little bit. I'm going to flip it over. And we're going to place it in with the tweezers. Hold on. These tweezers need to be shaped a little. Take it. Place it in. Press it. And you didn't see any of that. And you're like that. Now, if you wanted to move it to the edge, you could. But I'm not doing that. Sorry. Excuse me. Place my straight pen back in. Be sure to have either a magnet or put your straight pens in a pin cushion so you don't stab your foot with them if they fall on the floor. I have done that. So anyway, in this case, I'm going to go ahead and fill in another one that's already pre-made. And you can do so many different shapes. I am going to have to end this live soon. But maybe we'll make this a double header and I'll come on later today. Tonight, maybe. We'll do a late night special. take this one and place it in here. This paper is thinner than the other one. Now you can take this one, and let's say for just the sake of filling in this leaf, well, actually I don't want to fill it in with that. We'll take some green. I'll spin just a standard circle. Spin it. I'm not going to spin it as tight. Ooh, spin, spin, spin. This is really long paper. Takes a long time. Have it spin. Give it a little twist. Pull it off of there. Well, sometimes, that happens. We're just not going to use that part. Now, if I want this to open up, I pinched it. So if I want it to open up, and let's say I want it to be pretty open, but I'm going to glue the tail down. I'm going to show you how to make a little eyeball shape. You have a circle. And if you take and pinch both sides, it's going to look like an eyeball. You can take your spinning tool and place it back on the paper if you wish on the inside. So you can spin it a little bit more. You have to have really good eyesight to do this, or reading glasses sometimes. Oh my goodness. To get it back on there is not easy. There it goes. And I'm just going to take and just spin it a little bit. Put my thumbnail on it like I should have done before. And then I have a little eye. So to keep that shape, I'm going to take my glue and I'm just going to stick it in between here. Just to tack it on. Okay. And now with this one, I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to use this side as the down. This side's going to be up. I'm just going to tap the glue on. Tap it on there. I'm going to take this and I'm going to put it inside this leaf. Maybe I'll use the needle tool to bring it down in here. And just push it down. Straight pen. Oh my goodness. So you can see that it went in there like this. Let me put the straight pen back. As I mentioned before, put your straight pens back. So you're just going to fill in all your space. So I could take like this. Let's see if it'll fit, because that one I made already previously. Maybe this one I made previously as well. Let's just go ahead and tack the tail down on this one. And just gonna shape it like that. And maybe this design here, this shape, get that tail down. You can find a place to place it. Maybe it's going to just go, maybe I'll just place it here. So without doing the wall, you can just design and push these in. Or maybe I just don't do it that way. Reshape your paper. And this is just trial and error, as far as the designs you want, the shapes that you want. Maybe I don't want it like that at all. I want to round it out a little bit. Yeah, I don't know. I don't really like that shape that much. Here's another teardrop. Let's say we're going to, it's driving me crazy. I gotta put another color in here. Let's do, um, we've done purple, we've done pink. Let's try blue. Straighten this out. I'm gonna spin it, quill it. This video is a little all over the place, and I'm sorry, guys. Just gonna spin the paper. Now they do have, you can purchase automatic quilling devices where it'll just spin it for you. And I don't know, I feel like that's cheating a little. If we want to do, let's go to this template. We want to do one of these shapes and we want to get consistent sizes. What size do I need? I think I'm gonna do this circle. Just put your paper in there. Measure that out. So if it fits all in that circle, then every time you make one for that size, it will be that size. Take your little bit of glue, maybe a needle tool to pull it back out. Glue the tail. Put some glue on where you're going to glue it down. Just tap it on. And maybe take your tweezers and grab a hold of it. And let's say we're going to drop this one here. I really should go, but I can't stop. I just want to quill. It's one of these projects that it's so relaxing to do that you can just make cool art with paper, just spinning it. Well, you do have to pay attention sometimes. Oh, there's my alarm telling me I've got a little bit of time before we have to leave and go to another thing today. So, if you are interested and you are local to the West Palm Beach area, And if you want to find some of our product line and some of my artwork, you can go check it out at Northwood Glass Art. It's at 524 Northwood Road. And I have a small display set up there with some paintings and some tiny doors that you can pick it up there at the shop locally. So I'll have the swirl. I am going to make the shape. Maybe I let it spin too much. I guess I'm not making that shape. Stick it in the oval. Doesn't fit in that one. I should have sized it before. This is what sizing does. And a needle tool. Straight pen. So yeah, I actually was at an event last night and set up in front of Northwood Glass Art. And I've had my product there before, but we pulled some of that out a couple months ago for some shows. So now the products are back there. And if you also are looking for really unique, amazing handmade gift, the owner there, Karen, she is a really great glass artist, infused glass. So here's another shape. And yeah, so if you're looking for something, there's a lot of really great shops in Northwood Village. And not only that, but that is our kind of our hub for tiny doors. It's where we started our business. And we installed 3 tiny doors last night as well for the tiny door hunt. They are handmade and they are installed, so don't try to take them. And you can go for a little tiny door hunt. So currently there are more than 3, but there are 3 new ones there. I did this really cool shape, but where am I going to put it? I really liked it this way. So I'm just gonna freestyle it and put it, hmm, where should I put it? I think I'm gonna put it here. So yeah, so we installed some tiny doors, really excited. We have not installed tiny doors in a little while. We've been a little busy doing some other stuff, so the tiny doors are coming back to Northwood. So anyway, this is Quilling, guys. I know it's not been the bestest of videos, but it is what it is for today. It's just not going to be my day to sit here and do 100 of these, or actually more than 100 will go in a piece this size. So I hope that gives you a little idea of what it looks like and how you can shape paper to make really cool artwork. And yeah, so I was going to bring some other paper art here, but I did not today. With that being said, I think I'm going to close this one off and I will make a full tutorial of making this piece and we will publish that eventually. Sometime. Sometime. Not really sure when, but soon. So, with my magic fingers, let's go over here. Look, y'all are on the screen too. So, this has been our schedule. Um, Let me zoom out. Today is day 6 of tutorial week. Tomorrow is the big finale. I will be painting live. Um, and I'm not painting what you see on the screen there, this image here. Um, I am going to be painting mangoes. So, if you wanted to paint along with me, you need some either paper or small canvas. I'm actually going to be painting on a really big canvas tomorrow because I have a piece that I want to finish up. I already have a base coat on it. You'll need acrylic paints, paintbrushes, a cup with water, paper plate, paper towels, and that's basically all you need to make a masterpiece. And I thought about doing um, a small painting, but I really want to get this other painting done and I need it done before an event. And the event is going to be at the beginning of May. So it's going to take me a little while to probably paint the whole thing, but we're going to start it off right here on tutorial week tomorrow at approximately 1 p.m. Maybe I'll come on here tonight and do some more quilling with you guys as a bonus video because I really love doing this. And I've had a very busy week this week, so maybe I will pop on tonight. We'll see. So, anyway, thanks so much, you guys, for tuning in. And if you're new here and haven't subscribed, you can subscribe right there. Well, probably down below this video or wherever it is. Hit subscribe, ring the bell. We do come on YouTube every single day. Sorry this video has been a little crazy, but it is what it is. So, yeah, with that being said, I think we're going. Again, I'm leaving for real. All right, we'll talk to you again tomorrow, and we will be painting live for our last day of tutorial week. Does that mean that we're going to never do tutorials? No. We'll do another week of tutorials in the near future. But this week is almost over. So we'll see you tomorrow. Thanks for tuning in. Or maybe later tonight. I don't know. Okay. Bye. Bye-bye. 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 Bye.